Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking love and marriage Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. Today we are talking because I wanted to do this video, but some other stuff had been going on, with these beefs, with these revelations, with these interviews, and all the chaos surrounding love and marriage Huntsville. But on Yahoo News, the Gravity section, Brenda Alexander, you guys, wrote this piece on Martell, just dragging him, and we're going to get into it. So it says the following. It says, there is nothing Martell Holt can do to make us believe Melody is the villain on Love and Marriage Huntsville. It says, now that season 6 of Love and Marriage Huntsville is finally over, it is time to address the revolving storyline of Martell Holt and his resoluteness to vilify his ex-wife, Melody Rogers. His recent sit-down with Tasha K was a fumble at trying to do just that by praising his long-term side chick and downplaying his obsession with Melody and his desire for her attention. The receipts that he produced of Melody in a justifiable rage, putting gasoline on his furniture while he omitted what he did to drive her to set it off, is textbook manipulation. Before Martell goes on a social media tirade about how I must be a fan of Melody because it published this, but let me clarify, I am no personal fan of anyone. What I'm a fan of is any woman who walks away from an abusive marriage, relationship, friendship, or workplace and doesn't allow said abuser to play in her face by trying to rewrite history, especially one long documented in a reality series. Not only does Martell want Melody back, something stated in interviews throughout the years and admitted on the show, but he is pissed that she left him for good. During the season 3 reunion, Martell said what everyone already knew. Despite sharing his bleep with another woman for 7 years of his 14-year marriage, he never thought he and Melody would end. Day one fans watched Melody go back and forth for 3 seasons before breaking free. We later learned that before the cameras began rolling for season 1, she left and went back once or twice, even going as far as moving out of their marital home with their 3 young children at the time into her place. Because Martell no longer holds Melody's mind, body, and spirit, he is hell-bent on making her life an HELL and gaslighting anyone crazy enough to fall into his baby gap suit antics. Martell cannot live with the fact that Melody is thriving, and most people with sense can see that she was the engine that kept their family, former businesses, and his public image intact. Martell has insisted that he tries to co-parent with Melody in peace. Footage from Love and Marriage Huntsville proves otherwise. He has admitted to popping up on her on dates because he didn't feel she deserved to dine with another man at any restaurant they frequented. In their 14-year marriage, he has shown up without invitation to her home. He gets into screaming matches with anyone who remains her friend and defends her against her smear campaign on the show. He has shown up at birthday parties she planned for their daughters uninvited and acting a fool amid mixed company, knowing that there is nothing in their custody arrangement that states either have to throw joint events. Their custody arrangement is 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I think basically she means that both parents have custody 2 weeks out the month, basically. So, but it's 7 days on, 7 days off, from what I recall. Martell has shown in the series that he'll do anything to disrupt Melody's time with their children while she plans scheduled activities around her allotted time with the kids. Because Martell cannot control her anymore, he uses the children as bait, and because she refuses to play along, he has learned to get the sexist and misogynistic Alabama court system on his side by forbidding Melody from posting the children or having them on the show as it benefits the success she's individually setting up for her and the kids. But when they were married and he was involved, the kids being on TV and social media was not an issue. Adding insult to injury, he puts the battery in the back of his longtime mistress turned another mother of his child to do his dirty work. The same mistress he called a peasant on national television twice. The same mistress that when his marriage finally ended, he didn't wife her or at the minimum publicly claim her. Instead, he pulled reality TV crossover to make his ex-wife feel like he upgraded with an OG Real Housewives of Atlanta while said mistress and baby mama threw a tantrum on Instagram. It wasn't until his recent last-ditch effort to salvage his already damaged reputation in his interview with Tasha K that he confirmed that she was his other woman, but noted that he's currently single, also referred to as her friend.
and that they were getting to know each other after 10 years. When asked why they fell in love with his mistress, side chick, he couldn't give a definitive answer. The same question was asked about his relationship with Melody. While he refused to dive into details to make the world believe that he is no longer hung up on his ex, Martell said she possessed all the qualities he prayed for in his wife. Considering the stark differences between his past and present lives, one can assume that means a woman he could build with who looked good on paper and reality would have his back. She did that until she could no longer tolerate his disrespect. When she left, his world crumbled. He admitted to being in financial distress, and after they dissolved their joint businesses with new entertainment ventures, Melody continued to work in real estate via the property preservation business, while Martell struggled to stay afloat due to needing a builder license. It turns out Melody was the beauty and brains behind the formula machine, which we keep saying, but as a true Southern belle, she has made sure and to front like everything was a partnership. Martell has tried his hardest to make Melody look dumb for confronting the side chick and asking why she stayed with him for so long after discovering his affair. I don't know many married women who hadn't done the same or worse, especially with 1 or 4 minor children and million-dollar businesses before bidding a finer farewell to her cheating husband. Melody didn't want to leave her marriage. She had no choice. Martell wanted his Betty Crocker boss of a wife at home, while his younger and desperate, mistress was there, desperate to prove to his wife that she had her man freak of every week stroke his ego and gave him an escape from the reality and that he wasn't the man he cracked himself up to be. It wasn't until Melody was away from Martell and realized that she could live her life better and more peacefully without him that she could stand firm in her decision. That, coupled with the fact that the world knew that his mistress was probably pregnant and that she was able to fly without Martell. As we've seen on television right in our very eyes when it comes to Mel, Martell can be dangerous. We know about the revenge plot that he conjured up with said mistress who admitted the details and a leaked audio with a popular YouTuber. Martell is dedicated to making the world believe Melody cheated in their marriage while they were together. He also alleged that his 5th child wasn't conceived while he and Melody were together. Instead, they were separated, but the math is not mathing. Melody and Martell's youngest child and his son with the side chick are a year apart. We watched the overlap in the two relationships on the show, and Melody catching him communicating with her secretly while they were trying to work on repairing their fractured marriage. Allegedly, it was also not the first pregnancy for Ariane and Martell. In leaked audio with Tasha K, the side chick admitted to terminating 2 previous pregnancies because of his marriage. Melody may not be innocent overall in how she interacted with her co-stars in the early seasons of the OWN series. Her commitment to trying to expose the alleged infidelities and Martell and Letitia Scott's marriage was controversial. Well, just a quick correction there. It actually was Martell who was trying to expose that with the 20 girlfriends. Mel only chimed in when Letitia was threatening to expose the side chick and made the dig about the matching BMWs. That was when Melody struck back, but a lot of people don't like to remember that part. Also, it was Marceau and Letitia who planned the anniversary dinner for Mel and Martell and started bringing up the cheating stuff at the dinner. So they were always going to try to expose and take down Mel down a notch. So I never understand why Mel is always the one who is ridiculed when this started with the Scotts trying to bring them down. And then Martell, since he was exposed as a cheater, wanted to, expose them as well. So anyways, the alleged infidelities to Marceau and Letitia's marriage was controversial, mainly because it appeared she wanted to bring anyone down with her and Martell due to their marriage going down the drain. She also blamed Melody's friendship with the Scott brothers, or Martell's friendship with the Scott brothers for him seemingly switching up on their marriage, as the Scott brothers were alleged to be known philanderopers and preferred their women to be more traditional. Thankfully, since she's evolved from the hurt people era, but Melody isn't responsible for the dissolution of her marriage. The only thing Melody is guilty of is not leaving Martell sooner, and for me, falling in love with the wrong person. The sad part is that Martell has had ample opportunities to humble himself and present a different side of himself to the world. The marriage is over and Melody isn't coming back. It would be a more interesting and digestible show to watch him in therapy, juggling co-parenting and raising his children, studying for the builder's license he never had and is never going to have, and is working to reestablish the community complete trust in him as a businessman, but he prefers to take this route. It hasn't been working for him, and he is sinking further into a hole. The word may be overused as we are in a world that has become more cognizant of our mental health, but if you Google the definition of narcissist, Holt's picture might show up. So this is on point. The comments agree that Martell needs to be removed from the show, that everything that was said in this piece was nothing but the truth, that how everybody is glad that people can see with the mainstream media reporting on this, that everybody can see Martell for who he is. This is, somebody else replied that they're glad that somebody else is seeing what we've been seeing for years, and that nobody in the OWN franchise has done anything about it or said thing as much to, basically get rid of him. Again, the article is nothing but the truth. This article is facts. Thank you for Yahoo News for your total unbiased truth with a whole bunch of clapping emojis. Martell is a very revengeful, angry man who sold his family. I will not watch Lamh Huntsville if he is still on the show. Martell is diabolical and dangerous to Mel and their 4 kids. I think the more this spreads, the more danger Melody is in. He is desperate for his image lifestyle back. He never loved Melody. He has been a cheater since high school. And then somebody else said free Marty Marp. That's not even worth mentioning. But nonetheless, I am happy that this is reaching mainstream. I do kind of agree with the one comment that said potentially that Melody, Cherie, Rogers, and the kids are in danger. But we knew that with the lengths that Martell is trying to go to still try to destroy his ex-wife, whether it's via the revenge P, whether it is the doxing, whether it's the continued smear campaign. But the other side of this is I feel potentially with all this negative press and this negative attention that Martell gets to get, and he still is not getting any opportunities, and as we still know, he still is not filming right now for season 7, that he is going to continue to take this out on Melody, Cherie, Rogers. And perhaps this is why Melody Cherie Rogers is saying how she's taking more boxing and self-defensive classes as well, in the event she has to prepare for some unhinged person to show up unannounced to her house or something. But again, continued prayers for Melody Cherie Rogers and the 4 Holt kids. You would think by now Martell would have bought a clue and realized that the path that he is on in destroying Melody Cherie Rogers just isn't going to work, and even trying to enlist the help of the Scotts, whether or not they're on the show, is not going to work. It's just leading to so much more backlash and so much more people over it, and ultimately it's going to be up to Carlos King. Whether or not Martell's going to be on ice for good, or if he's just going to be on ice temporarily, or if, Carlos King is still going to try to make excuses to have Martell on the show for the sake of reality TV, even though Melody Cherie Rogers has said publicly a number of times in front of, Carlos King that she does not feel safe, that she, feels like he was in on the plot to have Melody Cherie ambushed all the time by her ex-husband, and that he didn't care because he had a personal relationship with Martell and all of these things. And, Carlos King didn't really deny it, but tried to play like he was clueless, that he didn't know things were this bad, even though Mel has said plenty of times that she almost left the show because the cast as a whole at one point in time was bullying Melody Cherie on behalf of Martell. So there is that. What do you guys think of this article? I think the article was well done. I feel like a lot of the points are a lot of things that we've said over the years. I feel like there were a few details in there that were a little bit not actually correct. I think people really discount how much the Scotts were a factor in also exposing the Holts and the demise of their marriage, because they wanted to do that to take the attention away off of their own scandals. I don't think we talk about that enough. A lot of people have selective memory of how much the jabs were being thrown by the Scotts as it pertained to Mel and Martell before even Mel in particular had the opportunity to really expose what was happening in this marriage. So, but again, I'm at least happy that this is getting, mainstream attention. This is on Yahoo News, and this was a well-written article otherwise, like I said, without a few minor details, but this is everything that we have been saying. This is everything that we have been saying. This is everything that we have been, pointing out. This is not biased. This is not, just somebody who's just saying something just to say it. She's not being paid by Mel or Mel's team. None of us are being paid by Mel or Mel's team to tell the truth. It's just, unfortunately, people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear the truth because people want a reason to not like Mel. People are jealous of the success Mel has had post-divorce because, like I said, they thought Mel was going to be broke and destitute and dependent on Martell. That didn't happen, and so all they tried to do is hate on her, but it has made her richer. It has made her richer, trying to block the kids from the show, but it also blocked Martell from having a storyline. So all of these things that he thinks he's preemptively doing hurting Mel, it is making Mel more richer and more successful and gaining more sympathy from the casual viewer or the non-viewer overall, because this is nothing but foolishness, right? So again, you know, like I said, well done. I agree wholeheartedly, like I said, with the exception of a couple of you know, things in there that needed to be clarified. But outside of that, I feel like all of the other points are completely on point. The one thing I also will add is the reason why we haven't, you know, really exposed. We technically have exposed that there are other mistresses as it pertains to the Scotts. However, ultimately they deal with mistresses that have something to lose. Either they're in another relationship or they're in a marriage or they're in something else as well. So they're not going to put themselves out there and say, hey, I'm a mistress of, you know, Maurice or Marceau or whoever allegedly. And also they don't want the same treatment that Martell side chick continues to get, which is the most hated side chick ever, right? So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.